the Liverpool Kingpin got executed after robbing the Colombian Cartel. He thought swiping £72 million worth of coke from one of the most dangerous drug gangs in the world was a clever move. Turns out, the cartel had other ideas, like turning him into street art. The execution nobody saw coming. On November 13th, 2007, a rainy night in Liverpool, Colin Smith, a father, had just dropped his son at football practice. Minutes later, he was dead, executed point blank in a quiet back alley near a local pub. This was no random act of violence. It was the brutal end of a 6-year manhunt that followed the disappearance of £72 million worth of cocaine. A powerful Colombian cartel felt betrayed, and their wrath was patient and cold. The question hanging over the city was clear. Who was Colin Smith? Why did the cartel wait so long to make their move? And who pulled the trigger on that cold night? The answers lie deep within Liverpool's shadowy underworld. The rise of Liverpool's hidden drug empire. Liverpool in the 1980s was a city struggling to survive. With mass unemployment and rising addiction, its streets became the battleground for gangs fighting for control. The city earned a grim nickname, Smack City, as heroin and cocaine flooded in. But this wasn't just local crime. Behind the scenes, local gangs had formed direct links to South American drug cartels, creating secret pipelines that fueled the explosion of the drug trade. Amid this chaos, Colin Smith emerged, not as the flashy gangster with gold chains and expensive cars, but as a quiet, unassuming man. He didn't draw attention to himself, driving a modest Ford Mondeo and wearing simple worn Lacoste shirts. On the surface, Smith was a regular businessman, dabbling in property and small-scale imports. But beneath this calm exterior, he orchestrated a vast and sophisticated drug operation. Smith's network moved millions of pounds of cocaine every year. Using clever smuggling methods, shipments were hidden in legitimate cargo, like crates of fruit shipped from South America to European ports such as Spain and the Netherlands. From there, the drugs were smuggled into the UK using secret compartments in vehicles or sold to underground networks across Europe. This stealth and discretion earned Smith a rare trust from the dangerous Colombian cartels. While others flaunted their wealth, Smith played a long game, building relationships and moving large consignments without attracting police attention or rival suspicion. His rise was a quiet storm, reshaping Liverpool's underworld not with noise, but with precision and patience. The mastermind and the enforcer, a deadly duo. At the heart of Liverpool's drug trade was a powerful partnership: Colin Smith, the quiet strategist, and Stephen Lawler, his ruthless enforcer. Lawler wasn't just muscle. He was the man who kept order and dealt with the city's violent nightlife. Running a crew of nightclub bouncers, he controlled Liverpool's clubs with an iron fist, using brutal tactics to silence rivals and enforce Smith's growing empire. But Lawler was more than just a feared figure on the streets. He held a rare and crucial role: direct access to the Colombian cartel. Unlike many who stayed in the shadows, Lawler negotiated face-to-face with suppliers, brokering massive cocaine shipments that kept the flow steady and the profits high. Together, Smith and Lawler operated a vast network moving tons of cocaine into the UK, combining Smith's calculated planning with Lawler's street-level muscle. Their power grew quietly but firmly. Neither flashy nor loud, they built an empire based on trust, fear, and ruthless efficiency. This deadly duo reshaped Liverpool's underworld in ways no one expected, until it all came crashing down. The £72 million mistake that sealed their fate. Spring 2001 marked a turning point. Lawler arranged a massive shipment, 500 kilograms of cocaine valued at 72 million pounds, once cut and sold on the streets. The shipment was sent on credit, a high-stakes gamble that carried huge risk. In this world, one wrong move could destroy everything, and often meant someone's life. That same year, Lawler's violent reputation caught up with him. In May, he was ambushed and executed in a sudden, ruthless attack tied to a nightclub feud. With Lawler gone, Smith lost his crucial link to the cartel and the protection that came with it. Faced with mounting pressure, Smith made a bold and dangerous choice. He quietly recovered the shipment from Amsterdam and sold it himself, pocketing millions. But when the cartel came calling for payment, Smith lied. He told them the shipment had been seized by Dutch customs, an excuse they reluctantly accepted at first. This deception shattered the fragile trust between Smith and the cartel. In their eyes, the missing drugs weren't lost, they were stolen. That 72 million pound mistake marked the beginning of a slow-burning vendetta that would follow Smith for years, ultimately sealing his fate in a deadly game of betrayal and revenge. The betrayal, when loyalty meets greed. Smith's story took a dark turn when the lie he told began to unravel. He had told the Colombian Cartel that Dutch customs had seized the 72 million pound cocaine shipment. But there was a problem. He never showed any proof. No official seizure papers, no yellow notices, nothing to back up his claim. In the world of cartels, trust is everything, and without evidence, suspicion grows fast. The real betrayal came from within. Stephen, the blonde French, one of Smith's own trusted lieutenants based in the Netherlands, turned against him. French revealed the truth to the cartel. Smith hadn't lost the drugs by accident. He had sold the entire shipment and kept every penny for himself. This was not just theft. It was a brutal betrayal of loyalty and trust. The cartel's response was swift and merciless. Such a high-level betrayal demanded punishment. They put a 1 million pound contract out on Smith's head, a death sentence waiting in the shadows. For a criminal empire built on codes of honor and deadly respect, Smith's greed had made him a marked man. Hiding in plain sight, a kingpin turns legit. After betraying the cartel, Smith knew he couldn't keep living as before. To cover his tracks, he began buying legitimate businesses, car washes and rental properties, mostly around Spain's Costa del Sol, a known haven for British criminals and cartel middlemen. These investments generated over £200,000 a year in clean income, a tidy sum that helped him distance himself from his drug empire. Despite his efforts to go straight, Smith was far from safe. Merseyside police noticed increased cartel activity around him, with frequent chatter about unsettled scores and several failed hit attempts on his life. Smith was living on borrowed time. For 6 years, he balanced on a knife's edge, maintaining his low profile, investing in legal ventures, all while knowing that at any moment, the cartel's wrath could catch up with him. The patience of the cartel was brutal, and Smith's days were numbered. The cartel's reckoning, Operation Precision Kill. In November 2007, after years of living under a dark cloud of suspicion and danger, Colin Smith's time finally ran out. The cartel's patience had worn thin. Smith was carefully tracked, his movements observed by a professional hit team working with deadly precision. One cold evening, as Smith dropped his son off at football practice, he received a message, a simple text from a burner phone. It wasn't an ordinary text, but a lure, pulling him outside a gym in Liverpool where he thought he had a meeting. What followed was swift and brutal. From the shadows, a masked gunman appeared and fired 2 shotgun blasts directly into Smith's chest and abdomen. The shots were close range, meant to kill instantly. There was no mercy, no second chance. The killer vanished as quickly as he arrived, melting back into the night. The getaway was just as calculated. A silver BMW sped away from the scene, its license plates traced back to a false registration linked to Manchester. Police later believed the assassin fled through Liverpool John Lennon Airport before authorities could lock down the area. The entire operation was a flawless execution, reflecting the cartel's lethal reach and resources. The local police responded swiftly, launching a major investigation under the codename Operation Nike. But despite their best efforts, the killer had disappeared without a trace, leaving behind only silence and unanswered questions. The cartel had delivered its verdict, and Smith was dead. Unsolved, untouchable, justice never came. The aftermath was marked by frustration and mystery. Over 18 years later, there have been no arrests and no convictions connected to Smith's execution. The case remains open but stalled, haunted by a lack of solid evidence and the deep code of silence that grips Liverpool's underworld. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some believed the hit was cartel revenge for Smith's betrayal and theft of millions. Others suspected local rivals, seizing the opportunity to eliminate a lingering threat. The 6-year delay before the hit only added to the confusion, sparking theories about complex power plays and shifting alliances behind the scenes. The personal toll extended beyond the streets. Smith's widow fought to claim a £5 million life insurance payout, only to face denial due to his criminal record and illicit activities. The harsh reality of underworld justice meant that financial closure remained out of reach, leaving his family in a painful limbo. Smith's death fits into a larger pattern of violence that has gripped Liverpool for decades. Since the early 2000s, over 100 gangland murders have gone unsolved across the region, each one a grim reminder of the dangerous world lurking beneath the city's surface. Colin Smith's story stands out as one of the most chilling, a cautionary tale of betrayal, greed, and a ruthless quest for vengeance. Reflective close, betrayal, paid in blood. Colin Smith built an empire that few saw coming, a hidden kingpin moving millions in the shadows. But his empire was built on fragile trust, and when that trust broke, the price was paid in blood. His death serves as a stark reminder that in the underworld, loyalty is rare and betrayal is fatal. Smith died a ghost, erased quietly, but with a legacy that still haunts Liverpool's streets today.